You already know who it is. King Fortune, we back up in here once again. The last live stream was cut short. You already know why. You already know why it was cut short. You know what I mean? We start interrupting the frequencies when we speak the realest information known to man. I guarantee that this is the most advanced information you're going to hear anywhere. That's no shot to no one else, but we've been putting in that work. We've been putting in that work. Need some code words? Nah. So this is the thing, yeah, you know, YouTube, what's up, Moon Spirit? YouTube is trying to kind of put people in a box, you know, what can and can't be said, you know, because they're not going to push your videos and all that. But it's mostly for people who monetize their videos, people who get YouTube checks. But, you know, there's no ads on my videos, so it really doesn't affect me. You know, there's no ads here. You know, my support just is strictly off of the people. Not off of the people, but the people hold me up, right? The people are my pillars. I don't get any checks from YouTube. You know what I mean? So I can do what I want. Obviously, as long as it's within the community guidelines and the copyright stuff and all that stuff, but it's all good. So we're gonna keep coming. Like I said, everybody know where I am. You already know. So again, if y'all don't have videos that up that notify you and all that, just come to the channel. We good. What's up, Afro Pick? But what I will do, let me put my shields on, because that may be an issue, right? I'm trying to come on here with no shields, thinking that I can swivel through, but nah. I guess I gotta put my shields on. So let me put my shields on. You know what I mean? Y'all see I try to be I try not to put the shields on, but if we gotta put the shields on, we gotta put the shields on. So that's what we're gonna do. So give me 1 second. Let me put these shields on. Right? You gotta put the shields on. It's not gonna fit. Take this off. Let's put these motherfuckers on, right? But again, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. So this is just YouTube politics, so we're gonna activate our magic, make sure that don't happen again. We're gonna make sure that doesn't happen again. So give me 1 second, let me power up. Should take this shirt off, because you know, we're getting real heavy. I may need to even, hold on, yeah, I may need to take this shirt off. You gotta be sending out the right vibrations, right? We gotta be sending out the right vibrations. Apparently the vibration was a little bit too powerful, but so what, right? Just because we're sending out powerful frequencies, you know what I mean? We gotta make sure that we keep shit smooth, right? Again, we're not here to necessarily get on nobody's nerves or make anybody feel upset. You know, we're not here to piss anyone off, but nonetheless, people will feel offended anyway, even if that's not the intention. Right. So, 1 second, let me power up. So once again, can y'all let me know if y'all have any questions? Even though this is an entirely new video. But hold on, let me. Do I want to take my shirt off? I don't know. Whatever. This is cool. So once again, well, not once again, this is actually a new video. So let's start fresh, right? Let's just start fresh. Let me see. All right. So the name of this video is called Random Synchronicity. So as we go through our travels in this third dimensional reality, we understand that in our travels, things will appear to us that doesn't make any sense, or that appears synchronistic. It may have been something that you noticed in a dream, which is why you must pay attention to your dreams, because certain things that you see in the dream world will start to appear in your reality. It's just that most people not being aware of their dream state, they doesn't that it don't click like that, but it will click. The more you remember your dreams, the more seriously you take your dreams, the more you will start to pick up on, like, oh, I saw that before. I saw that. 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 Where does that come from? Deja vu. That starts to become more prevalent because you are paying more attention, because you are taking it more seriously. And when those so-called random synchronistic moments occur, you know that not only is it not random, it actually corresponds with you because you've seen it. Nobody else seen it. It's not you heard someone else's dream. It's something that you saw in the dream world. And we know when we are in the dream world, we at times foresee the future. Not just see the past, but we sometimes foresee the future. And those moments when we foresee the future, we are able to pick up on those things when we see it in real time. Like, okay, I saw this in a dream, so why am I seeing it now? So if I saw something in a dream and I saw it in actual reality, that means that this is a deeper connection here. And because this is a deeper connection here, this means that this is a omen or a symbol or a sigil that needs to be studied, because most of the time it links to a particular deity, or it links to a particular ascended master, it links to a particular occultist, it links to a certain energy, frequency, or vortex that can be expanded when you place your attention upon it. So once you can identify it, you can expand it and amplify it. Again, this is why I always recommend the Encyclopedia of Deities, so that you can become more familiar with the omens that happen all around us, but you may not be able to perceive it if you're unaware of what you are perceiving. So the more that you study mythology, the more that you take these things seriously, the more that you study symbols. If you don't want to study the deities, then study the symbols, because that's what we see. Either you seeing deities, or you seeing spirits, or you're seeing symbols. You must study some type of science. You must study some form of divination, so that when you see it, when it comes to life, when it becomes so bright and vibrant in your reality that there is no ignoring it, you know how to amplify it, you know how to work with it. You know that, okay, it's time for me to set this up. It's time for me to switch my board up a little bit. You know how to properly respond in real time based on what you are seeing and based on the context that you are seeing it in. Because you may see it in a different context in the dream, and it may be in a completely different context in reality. So it must be like, okay, if I'm seeing something in one form in the dream world and I'm seeing it in another form in reality, then I understand that this synchronicity is speaking to me on a multi-dimensional level. And in order for me to understand this multi-dimensional language, obviously a spirit or an intelligence is trying to reach out and communicate, because it is seeking to build a bond with you. And because it is seeking to build a bond with you, it is attempting to reveal some type of insight, some type of information in exchange for energy. Is currency. Energy is currency. So whenever we work with spirits, whenever we work with deities, whenever we work with intelligence, we are exchanging our energy for that science, which is an even exchange, because we generate that yang energy naturally just by possessing a human body. Spirits don't have bodies, we have bodies. So when they are able to get some of our yin energy, they are able to have, you could say, pleasurable sensations, like orgasmic like sensations, because it's a yin energy. It's just like when the opposites, form and merge together, it's orgasmic. That's how the spirits are. Like, okay, it's just, you negotiate energy for information, energy, information, energy, information. What most people do is they're more so focused on things. We're moving beyond things. It's not to focus on things. You are focused on information. Because if you are focused on the information, if you are focused on the information, then you know how to get the thing that you seek. Let me put it in a different way. So let's just say a deity comes to you in your sleep. So let's just say you a dude fucking Aphrodite comes to you in your sleep, and she put it on you. Like, she put it on you, waking you up like, oh shit, I was just getting it on with Aphrodite. You have to first identify, oh, that's Aphrodite. How would you even know it's Aphrodite? Because you can identify certain attributes because you studied her. You may not know every single little detail, but you know just enough to identify, like, okay, if you don't know exactly who it is, you at least know, okay, if it's not Aphrodite, it could have been Athena. If it wasn't Athena, it could have been Hecate. If it wasn't Hecate, so on and so forth, right? You know, it's like, it's either one of these deities, because you kind of know, like, okay, it's the Greek pantheon, or it's the Egyptian pantheon, the Sumerian, you know, you kind of already have that. You know where to go with it. Because again, deities don't really come to you in their true form. They may come to you in a different form that you're more familiar with, but they will still have those same attributes. So they may look like somebody you are familiar with, but their attributes is what tells you who or what they are beyond the surface. Again, you have to look at everything from a multi-dimensional lens, even reality. So she put it on you. Okay, what is she trying to speak? Or what is she trying to say to me? Well, obviously, she's trying to activate the tantric force within you, because that tantric force will open you up to new information. So it's not for you to really get caught up on the sexual aspect. It's more so of you activating your serpentine or your kundalini energy will give you access to the information so that you can have those types of experiences by will, physically or mentally. Because if that's something that you enjoy, because again, some people may look at that as the incubus or the succubus. The incubus is like the male vampire. The succubus is the female vampire. Most people look at those as negative. Okay, but why would I want a spirit sucking my energy? Well, they're not sucking your energy because it was already a desire. A spirit cannot do anything to you. They cannot enter your vortex if you have not gave them the invitation. That's also how vampires operate. They don't invade. They only come in through invitation, right? The same thing with prostitutes, right? Prostitutes don't invade anything. They are welcomed in. You come right in here, right? They ain't just barging their way in. It's like, no, like, yeah, you come right in. Because that's just the way it is. You're moving with those waves. So they may come to you in the same way that a mysterious woman may come. Again, I don't really want to get too deep into what may or may not happen, because again, it's going to happen different for everyone. I'm just giving an example of something that you may see in a dream and it transfers to actual reality, and you know that, okay, this is something for me to study. This is some type of magic that I need to enhance, that I need to amplify, because it's coming to me. It's not necessarily you coming to it, it's coming to you. But you offered the invitation, whether on a conscious level or a subconscious level. For example, some people use mantras or words of power, you know, in their waking time to have certain results. Of course, I've talked about the clean mantra, the stream mantra, so on and so forth. But you can also use mantras in the dream world. This is what I discovered. The mantras are more than just using it in your waking life. You can actually use it in the dream world. I give you an example. I've used the clean mantra. If you are unfamiliar with the clean mantra, it's the energy of Venus. So it helps you to attract friendships and partnerships, so on and so forth. So you think about the energy of Venus, you think about clean. It's the same, you know, it's the same frequency. It's a word for a energy. So when you chant it, it makes people more friendly towards you. Okay, but what happens if you do it in a dream world, though? What happens when you put it in a different context? I can say what happened to me. What happened to me was, I remember this so vividly. You know, I was chanting the mantra before I went to sleep, fell asleep, and I saw like a forest witch. I saw a forest witch. And it's like I was in her reality. It's like I was in a colorful forest, right? It's a colorful forest, and I saw the forest witch. The forest witch. But what made the dream so vivid is it was like the dream was in 3D. It's like the dream was slowly transforming into like a comic book type of thing, but in real time. So it's like I'm seeing it in real time, but then it's getting a lot more vivid and a lot more colorful, all before my eyes. So I'm looking at this witch transform into something completely different. And when she transforms into something completely different, I was like, what the fuck is going on? I've never seen like something completely transform into a cart. It's like you just really don't see that in dreams. You don't really see things. Again, I'm not speaking for anybody else. But for me, I'm not seeing that on a daily basis. Like the dream be so much like reality, you don't even know you're dreaming. But this was clearly something that a realm that I haven't tapped into before. Why? Because I'm normally using the mantras and all that in waking time. But when I took it to the dream world, it took me to a whole different dimension. That I was like, yo, this is some crazy shit. This is straight out of a movie, but even more vivid because you're actually interacting with it. Now, of course, I wrote it all down so I could give more details, but that's not the point. The point is mantras can be used dream time and awake time. And I encourage everybody, everything you do when you are awake, all of your magical workings that you do when you are awake can also be done and extended in the dream time, as we call the astral temple. The astral temple is your version of heaven. Whatever heaven is for you, you create it in the astral plane. So for one person, it may be, you know, 6, 7, naked women with an abundance of weed, an abundance of, whatever. Whatever your version of heaven is, like this is a place that you feel comfortable at any time. If you need to recalibrate yourself, you need to reset yourself, you just go into your astral temple, whatever your version of heaven is. You just need to have that so that you can go into it whenever you need to. And that's the place that you go to every time you go to sleep, because that will be the gateway between this world and all other worlds. Your astral temple is like a gateway into different dimensions. But you need like a stop. It's like a train, right? The train has many different stops. So the first stop before you go into all type of different realms, the medium, the central point will be your astral temple. Because once you solidify yourself firmly in your astral temple, then from your astral temple, you go to wherever it is that you're going. Because it may be a little hard. Let's just say you want to go to Egypt somewhere, you want to go to London, you want to go to Paris, you want to go to Japan. So you want to astral travel to these places. It may be a little hard if you're just going directly from your bed to Egypt or to your bed from Paris. But when you first establish yourself in the astral temple, when you firmly understand that, okay, this is a lucid dream, I am consciously aware that I'm dreaming, I know that I'm dreaming, I have full control of this dream, so I'm going to direct my intention towards where I want to be. You have to firmly root yourself versus you're trying to go directly from the bed to a different dimension. When you have that centralized place called the astral temple, everything becomes a lot more easier because you've rooted yourself in some type of astral place that is firm enough for you to consciously work your magic. For example, just like you have an altar physically, you have altars in your astral temple. You can say your real magical work takes place in the astral temples because you can go beyond what you can do physically. So for example, like I was speaking about the blood rituals in the last video, everything that you may not have access to here, you have access to there. So whatever resources you may need, whatever you don't have here, you have it there. It's all about you have to work the magic. This is why we don't get caught up in the things we don't have and all this, because we have everything. It's already in the astral temple. You just have to create it. You have to utilize your imagination and solidify that in your astral temple, and you have to maintain your astral temple. It has to be maintained. So that means you have to go there on a continual basis so that you are rooting it deeper and deeper in the astral so that it becomes solidified. Everything in the physical reality has an astral counterpart. Everything in the physical reality has an astral counterpart, but everything in the astral don't always have a physical counterpart. So before anything can exist physically, it must be created and shaped and molded in the astral plane. As above, so below. Therefore, the deeper and more firm we root things in the astral plane by accessing our astral temple as a medium, as a ground base, as a 0 point of reference, then that's when the magic starts to happen from there. So you take it from the physical plane to the astral temple. Then once you construct your astral temple, then you exceed beyond it. Now see, I'm getting a couple questions in, so let's see. What about the twilight flame? Oh, not the twilight flame, the twin flame. Yeah, exactly. It's like, that's when the video cut off. I was about to get into the science of the twin flames, and they shut me down. Like, no, it's like, nah. So I guess I'm not supposed to speak on it. It's crazy. It's like it's a lot of things. I be ready to go into stuff, then the video gets shut down. So this is what I mean. The energy just be powerful. You know what I mean? Because it's coming straight out. I don't think this information is in the book, but you know it is what it is. We still here, right? We still here. Let me see. Hold on. Astral temples can easily manifest in this reality, correct? Well, the purpose of the astral temple is to be in the astral plane, right? You can create a temple physically. You can say your home is a temple if you want it to be, if you got your feng shui up, right? So you can say your physical temple is your home, or you can say your bedroom. If you live with other people, then your temple will be your bedroom, and that's where you work your magic. Wherever you have any type of privacy, and if you don't have privacy, then you go to a forest, or you go to somewhere you find a private place. You know what I mean? But then, when you find that private place, then you must set up your astral temple. Now, you don't necessarily have to be asleep to set up the astral temple, because you can do it all in your imagination. So you can create, like, okay, what do I want? Okay, throw 5, 6 women in there. You know what I mean? You know, make sure that they can dance. You know, make sure that the weed is flowing. You know, whatever it is that makes you feel comfortable, then you know, every time you see that vision, it channels or it awakens something. Like, oh, I'm dreaming. Oh, I see those naked women. Yeah, I'm dreaming. Oh, I smell weed in the dreams. It wakes you up. It makes you conscious. So you need some type of signal to wake you up. That's why you create your astral temple. Because when you see those familiar scenes or images, then you know, like, okay, it's time for me to work my magic. Versus you get caught up in the scene, because that's normally what happens when we dream. We tend to get pulled and sucked into whatever is going on because we're not familiar with the atmosphere. We're not familiar with the environment. So it's easy to get sucked into it. But when you have constructed the environment yourself and you are giving life to something that didn't have life before, so you know when you see the thing which you have given life, again, it's like creating the magical entities. When you give something life that did not have life before you gave it energy, then you know that, oh, this is my creation, so I must be dreaming. And if I'm dreaming, it's time to wake up and work that magic for real, because now I have all of the resources I need. So you may not have a partner, but you can create one mentally and create a home for your partner. Again, creating a magical entity that serves as your partner. So you may not have a physical sexual partner. You may have to create one in your astral temple, and that's where you work your sex magic. That's where you work your spirit magic, so on and so forth. So we are not ever limited to what we may or may not have physically, because we have access to all resources, because we have the ability to generate energy and to shape and mold things mentally. This is what I mean by having that higher mental science and understanding that we have the ability to shape and mold things mentally. So whatever we don't have, so what? Because we already have it in a different dimension. And when we understand that fully, then we understand that the same way you are working your magic in the astral temple is just as effective as if you were working it physically. Why? Because the brain is all about perception. For example, it is a fact that 50% of the time, When we see things, when we perceive things, it's mostly memory versus what your brain is actually seeing. What does that mean? That means that, for example, if I ask you to imagine something and you have never seen it before, you can't imagine it because it's not in your memory banks. You cannot imagine anything that's not in your memory banks. So that tells you right there, everything that you imagine, you have already seen before, or you have to create it yourself. That's the only way for it to exist. You have to create it yourself, or you have to have saw it already, or you have to create it on your own. So, and either you're going to wait till you physically see it, or you're going to create it. Either you're going to wait till the right person comes along in your life, or you're going to create it. Well, okay, because that, what if it take 5 years, right? What's up, Dragon OG? Well, if it take 5 years for you to meet your twin flame or your soul mate, that's 5 years. You can do a lot in that time. You can do a lot in that time, right? So, might as well work your magical rituals. Well, you got time, you know? You got time to chill. What's up, Prima? One Chosen? What's the deal? What's the deal? Well, let me make sure I got everybody. What's up, Allura Kush Goddess? What's up, Indigenous Goddess Male? I appreciate the compliment. I appreciate that, Queen. Yeah, you know, completely original information here. You know, it's coming directly from the spirit. And that's why it's the most authentic, you know, combining that magic with the science. Even though I get direct channels from the spirit, I still have to root it in science. Like if I was speaking to y'all, like the information was revealed to me, it probably wouldn't really make sense because obviously everybody doesn't know what I know. So in order for me to meet everyone on a common denominator, I must speak in the language that we are already familiar with. So I must use terms that we are already familiar with so that the message can be clearly understood on a multi-dimensional level. So it's like the translator. We are the translators of the spirit. The spirit conveys the information. We translate it. Then we give it to those who are open to receive. And those who are open to receive will be the ones who create the pillars for the next reality. What about the runner and chaser theory? I'm not sure what you mean. Like, explain to me briefly what you mean by the runner and the chaser theory. Shalom. What's up, Zion? What's up? What's up? Let me see. How do you feel about having dreams about winning the lottery? Well, if you having dreams about the lottery, you have to ask yourself, well, what is the lottery? See, most people don't really get into the science of how the lottery works. They're more so fixated on how much money that they could win or what they can do with the money. Leave the money out of it. Look at the lottery like you would look at any game, like the game of chess, right? The lottery is a game, right? There's rules to the game. Now, it may seem as if on the surface, or you just buy a lottery ticket, either you win or you lose. It's not that simple, especially if we understand that nothing is random. So everyone who is granted fortune deserves that fortune, and everyone who is not granted fortune doesn't deserve that fortune. But the scale that we measure on who deserves what isn't based on morality. It isn't based on whether a person is a saint or a devil. It's about energy. Who has enough energy to generate that personal information? As we were saying with the spirits, do you have enough energy to the point where the spirits even pay attention to you? See, that's the thing. If you don't have enough energy, then the spirits don't give a fuck. But that's just like with anything, right? You could say a rich person don't really want to communicate with a person that don't have money because you can't do business with. Like, well, why am I even talking to you? Not saying that everyone has that mentality, but we can understand where that mentality comes from. Like, if I can't do business with you, then I'm not going to necessarily give you a bunch of my time and it's not going to necessarily lead to anything or any benefit to me. That's a mentality. Not saying it's right, not saying it's wrong, but that is a mentality. But the spirit understands business. See, spirits understand business. Spirits understand that exchange is necessary. So the spirits are not just ever going to give information. They want that energy exchange. And when we accept that, then we think about this whole angel and demon thing a little bit differently now. Because most people don't really work with the darker energy because they feel, it may be some type of exchange. But that's how all spirits work. Why would they give you information just because you want it? Just like, why would somebody just give you $1 million because you want it? Why would someone just hand you a winning lottery ticket just because you want it? The lottery is a game like any other game. It's just a more complex game with a higher reward. But as we know, with the lottery, there are many losers, and you could say there's just a handful of winners. So everyone puts their money into this big pot. So all the people buying these lottery tickets hoping to win, they're all putting their money in this pot, and it builds up to millions, sometimes tens of millions of dollars, however much it builds up to. Then sometimes nobody wins the lottery. Sometimes there is no winning ticket. So where does all that money go? Right? So we understand that the game is being played because there's not always a winner. So you got all the people putting this money in, hope to win, but sometimes there's no winner. Sometimes there is a winner, but sometimes there is no winner. But let me put it to you in these terms. Let's just say you were at a casino, you hit the jackpot, you win $1 million. You know what happens? First and foremost, the casino gets a hefty percentage of that winning. See, most people don't know that because, again, most people are so fixated on winning, they don't study the rules. They don't understand, well, what happens when I actually win? Well, a lot of that goes to the casino. So you're like, you paying them. Then, of course, it's getting taxed. So you may only walk out with maybe about 400,000, 300,000, right? But that's the way it goes. Even though you won $1 million, well, after you break that bread off, you may not have $1 million. You're not going to have $1 million. So this is what I mean by we have to understand the intricacies behind these games. You must be the king of games. If you truly want to win the lottery, you must be the king of games. You must understand the games that you play so intricately that there's no choice but for you to win. For example, like playing blackjack. You can go to any casino and play blackjack. You can go to any casino and play slot machines. You can go to any casino and play these various games. But if you look at how many people are actually good at these games versus the people that are just trying to win some type of reward, that's what generates most of the money. People chasing after a reward versus actually getting good at the game that they play. So if you are not good at the game that you play, then you're most likely not going to win. Luck, or the energy of luck, is not based upon, it's a random thing. That's how it appears. It appears to be random, but it is mostly premeditated thought. It's the person that came in with a predetermined idea, like, okay, I'm about to play that blackjack. I have mastered the game. So I know at the end of the day, I'm going to win. Not because I think, not because I hope, not because the spirits are on my side, not because I'm just ultra lucky. Because I actually know how to play the game and I have mastered it. So you have the highest odds of winning versus someone who just walked to the casino table, the gambling table, and try to win. You are not trying to win. You go win because you have mastered the game. Anything that you have mastered, you don't doubt yourself. You don't doubt yourself that you know how to tie your shoes, that you know how to drive your car, that there's no doubt. It's automatic because it is second nature. When gambling becomes second nature, which sometimes requires a lot of money, so you got to get on your money magic if you're trying to be a master gambler. But that's a lifestyle. That is a path, the gambler's path. So all my people who's fixated on that money must be, you can say your first name or your middle name, but you must understand that money is mathematics and you are here to master the game. It really ain't even about the money, it's about mastering the game. Because as just like chess is very similar to the game of life, as they say. It's the same thing with any game. It can parallel the realities of life. It's actually showing you more than what you realize. It's a ultimate form of divination. The ultimate form of divination. So it's a lot more at play than most people realize. But again, that's what runs the economy, especially here in Vegas. Vegas doesn't produce anything, right? Gambling is what keeps Vegas alive. We're in the middle of a desert. There's no natural resources here. Not really. But people come here to gamble. And that's how the city makes money. And of course with the entertainment, with the big fights, events, so on and so forth. It's mostly entertainment. You know, it's Sin City. So most people come here trying to win, but they end up just losing their money because they're thinking about winning, not being the master of the game. When you become the master of the game, you can actually create your own game within the game that you are playing, and it becomes something completely different. You can create new dimensions once you master the game. It's just like, when you play the games on the little game consoles. You know what I mean? Like, just imagine playing Super Mario again on an Atari. You know how easy that would be for you to conquer that game, because you didn't been playing Grand Theft Auto 5. No, you didn't. The mind is just so advanced. That's what I mean. It's like if you was to go back to play those old school games, you would just be able to master that easily because you didn't already been through those chambers. That's what I mean. You must already have been through those chambers. You must already have mastered the game so that you can actually start doing things differently and in a new, innovative way. It's like you have to find a new way to win. There is no one way to win. You must find a way to win. It's like the odds are already against you if you are a gambler. The odds are already stacked against you, so you must find a new way to win. Because every time a person wins, they try to up the game. The game gets more and more complex. Like you have several casino tables or gambling tables that have different rules. So every casino has a game of blackjack, but it has specific rules. It's not the same game of blackjack at every table. They have different rules depending on how you want to play. Most people don't understand the differences in the rules. Because you're like, okay, those rules actually work in my favor. If you understand the language of the rules, you can understand, like, oh, that actually works in my favor. I have the higher odds of winning based on the rules. Or another game, I have lower odds of winning based upon the rules. But most people don't really understand the rules because they're not really trying to master the game. They're trying to get the money. But when you, like, all right, the money is what it is. It's the game that I'm seeking to master, because as I master the game, it's actually unlocking new dimensions of my mind. If you understand that this is a higher form of divination, money is involved. And that's why it's called gambling, because you are dealing with fate or you're dealing with destiny. It is a game of destiny. Meaning you win if you're supposed to win, you lose if you're supposed to lose. But what determines whether you're supposed to win or lose? How strong and how powerful is your mind? It's a movie about this, right? I don't remember the movie. It's like a gambling movie about this dude, right? It's a movie. I have no idea what the movie is, but I don't think it goes that in depth. But it basically tells that story of someone who was addicted to gambling, and once he actually won, he ended up just he only had enough to pay everybody back that he owed. To the point where he like, yo, I paid everybody off. I don't even want none of the money. Like they got extra, it's like a 5,000 left. I don't even want the 5,000. I'm getting up out of here. I have transcended out of the underworld. So that's what it is. So you must focus on the game. You must focus on the game. All right. Let's see. Your videos have been helping me a lot recently. You know, hopefully they do. You know, because, you know, they have to. You know what I mean? We all are here to serve a purpose. And whatever that purpose may be, we understand that we all have a different path. So we speak a common language. Then we go on our separate paths and start materializing things in the way we know best based upon our natural alignments. Right? No problem, no problem. So focus on the game. Right? What's up, the stellar room? What's up? What's up? I want to learn how to tap into my energy. Okay, I see what's going on. Right, the theory of the runner and the chaser. If I chase you, you run from me. Or is that just an illusion? I want to learn how to tap into my energy. Okay, from that perspective of the runner and the chaser, that's more so what motivates majority of the people. What do I mean by that? Majority of people go to work, get paid, go to work, get paid, go to work, get paid. Nothing wrong with that. Fair exchange. Energy is energy. Right? But then they always dangle the carrot. You can possibly get promoted. You can possibly make more money. You can possibly get bonuses. If you work a little harder, we up the ante up a little bit. All right? So they always keep that carrot dangling in front of you in order to keep you working at a proficient level. Right? The runner and the chaser. The runner must be chasing after something. Right? Everyone has desires, goals, intentions, so on and so forth. But you must empty your mind, right? When you become still, you're like, you know what? I'm not about to run after the carrot. I'll actually just fucking fast. It's a little different now. Like, all right, fuck that carrot. Because the only reason I'm chasing it is because I feel like I gotta eat. I'm hungry, I gotta eat. I'm aggressive, I'm savage. Nah. Fuck the carrot. I'm gonna sit and perfect myself to the desire for me to chase after the carrot dissolves. And when the desire to chase after the carrot dissolves, now it opens you up to a brand new reality because you have distanced and separated yourself from your desire just by abstaining from it and understanding that you don't need it. But again, it takes pain, it takes sacrifice. Again, it's very uncomfortable to fast. It's very uncomfortable to be pure and to fast from all of the chemicals in the body because we're so used to it. We run off of it. You know, we run off of that weed. We run off of that coffee. We run off of these foods. We run off of these things. So when you decide to step away from it, of course, you're going to go through that phase. But after a while, you get over it and your intentions change. So you must remove the desire first if you seek to see beyond the carrot that is being dangled in front of you, because there's always going to be a carrot. There's always going to be opportunity to make more money, more this, more that, more that. Nothing wrong with it. But we have to learn, if you want to go further to the point where the carrot chases you, the money is coming after you because you have perfected yourself. So the money just literally falls in your lap versus you're chasing after something because you feel like you need it. When all you need is self. When you have self, then everything falls into your lap. But it's a divine science that may not make sense until you live it. Right? It ain't really something that can be told. It has to be experienced. Which is why I always tell everybody, go out and get that experience. Let my words inspire you to go get experience. And when you get that experience, then the conversations start to change when you have your own experience, then the words become more and more and more meaningful, right? So go out and have those experiences. All right. I quit my job because of fasting. Your fasting does that. Fasting will make you quit your job because you just realize, like, why the fuck am I here? I really don't need this. I can do other things, but I have to have confidence in myself to manifest my true abilities so that I can sustain myself and not have to live check to check, not have to do the things that we have been built to do, right? So it takes a little time. It takes a little transition. It's like going against the grain. It's not easy. It takes a true warrior to walk that path of the entrepreneur, to walk the path of the inventor, the revolutionary. You know what I mean? A normal person is not going to be able to hold that much weight, and that's no problem, no shade to them, because everybody is going to do whatever they want to do. We are free to do as we choose. But we understand that the purpose we serve is a little different. So we got to act a little different. We got to think a little different. We got to be a little different because our paths are different. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. We would be just fine and satisfied with whatever our position in life is. But we are going beyond. We are activating the psychic centers. We are seeing that we don't have to follow this straight line anymore. We can go, you can say we can quantum leap. We can quantum leap. We can achieve things quicker than other people. We can do things that other people just look at as impossible. Because we have tapped into the psychic centers, we have tapped into the psychedelic mind to materialize what is inside of our mind. That's what happens when you fast. Your mind starts to materialize outside of yourself. So you really get to see what's going on in the deepest crevices of your mind when you fast. Right? So it's tough. Because of course you're going to see some things that, like, oh, I don't really like that about myself. Let me do something about it. You start correcting those errors. You start correcting those errors, then life starts to go a lot more smooth when you start correcting those errors that may have been unknown to you because of all of the chemical madness, right? So you got to get back to your square. Then everything starts to make sense, you know? But it's tough. You know, it's not easy, but it's not supposed to be easy. You know, you really it's like you gotta be insane. It's like you gotta be crazy. You gotta be obsessed, like, in real time. But that's really the only way for it to really make sense to you, because you have to give it your all. You can't be 50% in, 50% out, 50% out. You can't be on the fence. You gotta hop over it and learn the motions of the serpent. All right. Is it a good idea for me to summon a succubus? I would say it will depend upon what do you desire out of the experience, right? What do you desire out of the experience? So if you can answer that, what can a succubus offer me? Study them first. Study them. Study their nature. What do they do? How do they look? And if you feel like this is something that you want to integrate with, then do so. So if you find a benefit, if you find some type of function that a succubus will serve for you, then do it. But if you can't find an intention, then you know that, all right, it's not as good, bad, right, or wrong. Everything has a purpose. So you must establish the purpose. Get a purpose. Find the purpose. Then if that is the method that you need to take to achieve that, then so be it. Right? Just as long as you understand where you're going and what you're doing, right, then you're good. All right. Let me see. I got money coming to me now. It's thanks to you, brother. Well, definitely join the website. You know? Definitely join the website. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. You being able to go into the deepest chambers of the mind. And once you go to those deeper chambers, you go to the website, take you even more deeper, because everything is there. Right? That's why the website, for those who may not understand, AshaRenu.com, $5 a month. More so for support, right? If you really support me, $5 a month, but you get something in return. So it's not you just not just giving me free money. You getting something in return, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding in return for your support, as well as constantly bringing the information. So that's what it is, So salute to everybody who's on their path, who's living their path, who have accepted who and what they are, and who are comfortable in the silence and the stillness of the mind without losing their mind. All right, there we go. Can I put 2 candles in front of a sigil? Put a downward pentagram in front of the sigil and chant a demon's name? Would that summon a demon? It's not necessarily a proper way. It's more of start with something easy and expand. Like, for example, start with the 50 names of Marduk or the 72 Goetia. I say those because each of those spirits, well, it's a little different. But each of the 72 Goetia have a name and they have a sigil. Each of the 50 names of Marduk have a name, a word of power, and a sigil. So it all depends. So draw the sigil. Find the tradition, 72 Goetia, 50 names of Marduk. I'm pretty sure it's more out there. Anything with a sigil. Draw the sigil. Use the word of power. Right? So you chant the word of power 108 times. Like Cthulhu, 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 whatever, just as an example. I'm feeling that right now. I'm just, you're supposed to feel it surge. That means the energy is moving, the energy is starting to circulate. Do that 108 times, you charge it up. Carry it on, you put it in your wallet, put it on your altar. Do what you do. And again, it's all about experimentation. That's why it ain't about a right or wrong, good or bad. You have to do it a certain way or you're not supposed to do it. All creativity will spark the magic. Creativity sparks the magic. So you have to follow your intuition and your creativity. That's what sparks it more than anything that I can tell you. Because the way that I got the things to work, nobody necessarily told me. I just kind of figured it out. Just by constantly doing it on an everyday basis, just trying out new things, doing this, doing that, then eventually you start to find a formula that works. That's how it's supposed to be. You got to find out what works for you and what doesn't, based on your alignments, right? Some people's voice is more powerful. Some people's imagination is more powerful. Some people's physicality is more powerful. You have to find where you fit into the magic so that you can utilize your creativity based on your strengths. All right. How many times do you have to chant to summon an archangel? 108 times is the minimum. No less than 108 times. If you want to summon anything, 108 minimum. But you can just go by those 108, 108, 100. You can do as many times you want, 1,008 or 1,080. 108 minimum. That's the minimum. You can write it down. You can write it down, chant it. You can, however you want to do it. However the creativity flows. But at least 108 times. At least. But you can do it as much as you want. All right? All right. Here's another concern. I hear frequencies now. Shit is sometimes too much. I never hurt, but it's crazy. You hear frequencies? Of course you hear frequencies. These are the voices of the ancestors. And they may be speaking in a tongue that you may not comprehend consciously. But on the subconscious level, it makes perfect sense. So don't really get caught up in you not being able to understand or you not being able to really like, yo, what's really going on? Just be smooth. Be smooth, be relaxed. If it's getting a little bit too overwhelming, again, just hit up a fast. Cleanse your body, abstain. Work with some crystals, work with some orgone. Like I said, get you some crystal quartz. Sleep with that. Sleep with the crystal quartz above your head. Or get you some black crystal. Get you some black crystal and You know what I mean? Redirect that energy. You know? Work with the elements of the earth. So if anything is not smooth like you want it to be, that's why you got the elements of the earth. You know what I mean? That's why we got these crystal balls, right? So that's what I mean. So if anything is not making sense, activate the crystals. You know what I mean? Activate your crystals. And you know, there's many, many different paths, different ways. Just giving you a couple examples. Because, you know, things are going to get real spooky. Things are going to get real spooky. That's for sure. So that's not necessarily something to not expect. Expect things to get a little weird, a little, you know, violent at times as well. It just represents change. Sometimes a lightning bolt got to strike your third eye for you to start seeing clearly, but you have to go through that transition. All right? All right. What are my favorite crystals? I really don't have that many crystals. I had a bunch of them. I gave them away because I felt like you know, it was a time where I felt like I was done with crystals because I just felt I was evolving. So I slowly started getting back into it because people would give me crystals as gifts. Hey, take this, take this. I'm like, man, it's a lot of crystals. So let me get back on my game. So I would say at this point, crystal quartz. You know what I mean? We're talking about crystals, crystal quartz. You know what I mean? We got the black obsidian. Got the, what is it, black tourmaline. Yeah, I like the black crystals, or I like the clear or the black. Even though, you know, I have a moldavite piece. I have a, what is it, labradorite. I have a couple little pieces. You know, I have some lapis lazuli runes. You know what I mean? I have a couple little pieces, but you know, it's not really about, I mean, for those who truly understand, but this is what I mean. You got the tools and you know what's really going on. Like, for example, people look at this like, okay, you can look into the crystal ball and see images. Crystal balls are multi-dimensional. It's not just looking into it and seeing pictures. You can also project energy. This is what the spirits revealed to me, right? Like, it's not just about seeing. You can also direct energy, because the energy bounces off of the crystals and it amplifies it. It's like if a not a spark of light, if a beam of light hit a crystal, you know that a rainbow reflects from it. You know, so if the sun hits this, basically, if the sun was to hit this, it will reflect a rainbow. You already know how light works. It's the same thing. It's just that light is thoughts. You can send thoughts through your crystal balls. You know what I mean? Of course, there's various sizes. You don't have to get one this big and it can be that big. It is what it is. All right. Greetings. What's up, Nefertiti? How do you activate your crystals? You just have to program it with your desire, depending on what they're supposed to do. Like, for example, obviously you wouldn't charge crystal quartz with something that you would, with an intention that you would charge, let's just say, a moldavite piece with. Once you know what the crystal does, this is why you do your research. When you know what the crystal does, then you charge it with an intention that matches what the crystal already does, or whatever realm that crystal works in. That's what you charge your intentions with. So if a crystal resonates with a certain chakra, then you know, let's just say it's the heart chakra with moldavite, even though moldavite can be, you know, with any chakra. But as an example, because moldavite is green. So you would program the moldavite with a frequency of the heart chakra to open yourself up more, or to attract more love, not necessarily outside of yourself, but inside of yourself. It's the love force. I want to attract more love force, because that's what's going to draw the real love. It's the love force. You have to be filled with the love force. That's what draws the actual frequency. You have to fill yourself up first, so that you are full of love. Then the love can effortlessly manifest in various aspects of your life. So once you know what the crystal does and the purpose it serves, then you create an intention around what the crystal is already geared to do. Then you work the magic. So you want to make sure that your crystals are aligning with your intentions and that they don't clash. Like you wouldn't use black crystals the same way you would use rubies. You know, they all serve a particular purpose. So if you have a ruby, then you would charge it with intentions that resonate with what a ruby is here to do, right? So it amplifies the intention because it's already in that dimension of how it already works. All right. Um, I got an organite because you talked about it a while ago. Yeah, definitely. You know, use all the tools that you have available to you because it's only going to take you to higher chambers. You know that are not as obvious on the surface. Like I say, you know, this is not necessarily obvious on the surface, right? Can you see images? Absolutely, but that's not the only intention. That's not the only purpose it serves. That's just what we know it to be. So when you see the crystal ball, like, okay, you're a crystal ball gazer or a seer, it goes a lot deeper. You can heal with a crystal ball as well. Again, you can project energy through a crystal ball. You know, but again, you know, you're not really getting that side of the story because there's not a lot of people working with it in real time. This is like an ancient thing. You know, people, it's not really too many people with crystal balls. If they do, they're not necessarily using it in a multi-dimensional sense. They're just limited to what they think it does. But that's what the spirit does. The spirit takes you to new dimensions. Like, all right, you can do more than what we have been trained or accustomed to thinking that it does. So crystals can do more than what we think they do. But the spirit tunes you into that reality and lets you know those secrets. The more that you work with the energies, they reveal to you certain things that are not on the surface that can't be found in books. All right. What about previous owners and handlers of the crystal? Does it need to be cleansed before we try to change it with our own energy? Yeah, absolutely. You know, definitely cleanse your crystals. You know, even though I don't think you should be buying crystals from previous owners. Like if you are buying crystals, they should come straight out of the earth or straight from the factory where they were designed. It really shouldn't be a previous owner, like a person actually using the crystal, unless you know the person and you are kind of already familiar with their energy. So you know, okay, I can just cleanse it and it is what it is. But you know, you shouldn't really be buying pre-owned crystals unless you are already familiar with the person that you're getting it from. But I don't even know where you will find pre-owned crystals. So most of the time, it's either coming out of the earth or it's coming out of the factory. And if it's coming out of the factory, nobody programmed it. It just was designed. Because obviously this was designed. So whoever designed this, they didn't necessarily program it with anything. They just designed it and they allowed the owner to do what they do. They just was here to design it. So yeah, if it's coming from a factory, the factory just designed it, so it really shouldn't be an intention. And if it is an intention, you will be able to feel it. That's what your left hand is for. If you're right-handed, or your right hand, if you're left-handed, you should be able to hold the crystal in your hand and be able to detect the wavelength of the crystal. Like me holding this in my left hand, I can detect the energy. You know what I mean? The whole story of the crystal can be detected when you hold it in your hand. The whole story is there just based off of how it feels. It may project images in your mind, it may project words in your mind, but that's just the way we operate. We can communicate with the elements of the earth because the earth is a living being. So anything that comes from the earth is an extension of the earth, which are also living beings. So we are communicating with things that are actually alive, not inanimate objects that we have been made to believe, right? No, you hold with your recessive hand, not your dominant hand. Your dominant hand is for charging. So if you want to charge your crystals, you charge it with your dominant hand. But if you want to sense the energy of the crystal, you do it with your receptive hand. You know, if you want to feel the story, because each crystal has a story. If you want to feel the story, if you want to, let's just say you have a crystal and you don't know what it is, you don't know what the name of it is, you don't know what purpose it serves. This is how you find out without having to refer to Google or books. This is how you find out what its use is, because you can decode the energy that is emitting from its aura. You can kind of decode it. I guess if you have that ability of the empath, you can decode it just based off of the sensations that it radiates. All right? All right. So I think we got everything here. Let me see. Yeah, we got everything. We got everything. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. You already know. And we gonna make sure that we keep coming with the madness. Hi, I am not good in studies. Is there a way to be intelligent? You're working with the spirits. You know, if you're not a person that understands all this scientific lingo or this mathematical lingo, that's what the spirits are for. The spirits will help you initiate into deeper states of consciousness without having to know all the technical details that most people have to go to school for. All these things are already within us. It's already within the DNA codes. We already have access to infinite intelligence. That's what the back of the brain is. The back of the brain contains infinite intelligence. But there's so many neurons. There's so many neurons in the back of the brain that it's hard for it to be studied, right? So because it's hard to be studied, we really don't know what's going on. But the infinite intelligence is already in the brain. We just gotta wake it up. So just gotta wake it up. All right. Got an opinion on tiger's eye crystals? You know, those are good for the solar plexus. The solar plexus is all about your self-talk, the conversation you have with yourself. So as they say, you can be your own worst enemy, or you can be your own best friend, your own motivator. That's solar plexus. So the solar plexus is the one that's reinforcing the fuck shit, or that's reinforcing, you know, you to be the luxurious manifestation of the best version of yourself. That's what determines. Like I said, your self-image is at that solar plexus. So your self-image, if you need to perfect your self-image, tiger's eye or anything that resonates with the solar plexus, your inner sun. This is where your inner sun is. This is where you get all your courage, all your bravery. The adrenaline glands are right by here. You know, so you stimulate that solar plexus to stimulate those adrenaline glands, which secrete the hormones into the bloodstream. It makes you more warlike, right? So also iron. Solar plexus resonates with the metal of iron. So if you have iron, you know, or steel, if you have iron or steel, most of the eating utensils are steel. You know what I mean? You can play with a piece of steel and it will do the same thing, you know? So it all depends on how you want to go about activating it. All right. So I think we have everything here. Yeah. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. So again, definitely check out the website if you need any services, any forms of divinations that's not even on the website. Just hit up the personal email, Asha at AshaRenu.com. You know, any requests, you just let me know. We'll be checking out. Y'all stay. I was about to be redundant. I was gonna say y'all stay healthy, well, and all that good stuff. But no, stay magical, stay vibrant, stay alchemical, stay luxurious, stay in the best frequency, the highest frequency that you can tap into so that you can explore realms that have never been explored before. There are chambers of the mind that are left unexplored. This is why we are here to explore the unknown chambers. So we're going to continue to explore these unknown chambers and to present this information in a form that is tangible, scientific, mathematical, and magical.